Today our topic is major physical divisions of India. Look, image, this is the globe. Already you know it is the equator, it is Greenwich Mean Time. India is located here. India is located here on the globe. Northeastern part, the India is located of the globe. It is northeastern direction of the globe. Here, India is located here. Tropic of Cancer is also passes through the India. This is Tropic of Cancer. The above part is North India, the below part is Southern India. Now, imagination, it is the outline map of India. North direction, south, east and west. Northeast, southeast, southwest and northwest or northwest or west or north. Here one middle line, it is Indian Standard Time. Indian Standard Time. And here this is the middle line of India. The measurements this is the distance. North-south distance is 2933 kilometers. The north point to southern point. And this is the distance west to east, east to west and east. 3214. These are the kilometers. These are the middle north to south. These are the middle east to west distance of India. And here the frontier line of India, you should walk on the boundary line of India and move here and move and also move here, and at last you can get the first point. This is the frontier line of India. It is 15,200 kilometers. The perimeter of India or the frontier line of India is 15,200 kilometers. It is frontier line. Frontier line of India at 15,200 kilometers. And the area of India, 3.28 million square kilometers. The area of India is 3.28 million square kilometers. The frontier line of India is 15,200 kilometers. And you should take the coastal line. From here to the coastal line, only the coastal line of India, 6,100 kilometers. But already you know, Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Lakshadweep Islands, now total coastline of India, total coastline 7,200 kilometers. The total coastline of India, including Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep, 7,200 kilometers. Only the coastal line is refers to 6,100 kilometer. And here the area of the India is 3.28 million square kilometers. Only the frontier or total perimeter is 15,200 kilometers. These are the measurements of India. Now, major physical divisions. There are 6 major physical divisions are there. One is Himalayas. The first one is the Himalayas. The second one is the Indo-Gangetic Plain. Indo-Gangetic Plain. The third one is the Peninsular Plateau. It is only the Peninsular Plateau. The Himalayas are here, the first one, major physical division. The second division is only the Indo-Gangetic Plain. This was Indo-Gangetic Plain. And here this is Peninsular Plateau. Peninsular Plateau. The fourth one is the coastal plains. Coastal plains. Here, western side coastal plain and eastern side coastal plains. This is another feature of the India. The fifth one is these are one of the coastlines. The fifth one is the islands. Already you know Andaman Nicobar Island. And here is the Lakshadweep Islands. This is the fifth feature, island. And the sixth one is the Thar Desert. Here is the Thar Desert. Thar Desert. Lesson once, Himalayas, Indo-Gangetic Plain, Peninsular Plateau, and coastal lines, islands, Thar Desert. This is only this place is denotes only the Himalayas. This place is denotes only the Indo-Gangetic Plain. This place is denotes only the Peninsular Plateau. The place is only the coastal and north coastal, east coastal. Here the west coast and east coastal plains. And here the islands. The two sides are also islands. Here the north and western direction we can identify the Thar deserts. These are the major physical divisions. Now we should take only the Himalayas. Himalayas. These are the Himalayas from north to eastern direction. From north to east of India, it consists of the Himalayas. Himalayas, just imagine these are only the Himalayas. Himalayas can be divided into 3 zones. Three zones. Look, this is Himadri. This is Himachal. These are Shivaliks. Foot of 1000 meters above to 4,500 meters. From 1000 to 4,500 meters, the elevation is Shivaliks. From 4,500 to 6,200 meters, these elevations of the Himalayas are known as the Himachal. More than 6,200 meters up to peak of Mount Everest, 8,848 meters. These are also located in Himadri. 3 zones identified here: Shivaliks, Himachal, Himadri. The average Himalayas are 6,200 meters. It is the most important bit for the public. What is the average of Himalayas? The average of Himalayas are 6,200 meters. What is the Elevate of Mount Everest, 8,848 meters, Mount Everest. Mount Everest is also located in Nepal, not in India. Here, Mount Everest. So the Nepal is also known as a Himalayan kingdom. All around Himalayas are also stay there. So the Nepal is known as a Himalayan kingdom. It is the highest peak in the world. First one Shivaliks, second one Himachal, third one Himadri. The distance of the Himalayas, are, those are only the so many advantages. The China people not entered into the India across the Himalayas. The cold winds are also stopped by the Himalayas, and so many economical product is there. And here the clouds are also moved to the direction of the Himalayas, and rain due to the Himalayas the rain was occurred. These are the importance of the Himalayas. If there are no Himalayas, the India turned into the desert, this direction of the north and eastern. These are the important of Himalayas, the direction of Himalayas, the location of the Himalayas, and Shivaliks. Shivaliks are also most important for the production of the evergreen forests, and Himachal, Himadri. Here we can identify Himadri and Himachal. There is a great glacier, that is the Siachen Glacier. The Siachen Glacier is also melted by the sun rays. So many streams are also to the direction of the waves. These streams are also joined to the rivers. So the rivers are also originated of the glaciers. Himalayan glaciers are also most for the rivers. And next here, the valleys. The valleys are also most important. Here the slopes and the valleys. Khyber, Bolan, these are the valleys. And old alluvial soil is already here, the bottom of the Himalayas, that is known as a Khadar, and also the new alluvial soil is also covered by the old soil, that is the Babar. There are some trees are there. The trees are also fair and vegetations are also appeared there. That vegetation is known as a terai. This is the structure of the Himalayas. And next we should take Indo-Gangetic Plain. Indo and Gangetic Plain. Indo and Gangetic Plain. This is Indo and Gangetic Plain. It covered Uttar Pradesh, partly Haryana, Jharkhand and West Bengal. It covers Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, partially Haryana, Jharkhand and West Bengal. It received the deposit grants and the pebble-studded zones, sedimentary rocks. Sometimes it needs a belt in 8 to 16 kilometers named the Babar. The Babar is also lies the beyond of the rivers. So the alluvial soil is occurred there, and a swampy marshy tract is called terai. Terai is also lies there, and there are used for the agriculture. The Khadar, Babar, terai, those are the most important aspects of the agriculture to development. And the terai region is high allow zone. The terai regions, terai means the vegetations are also occurred some places and some places. And these two rivers, Indo and Gangetic rivers, are also meet one place is known as a doe. If there are two rivers met one place is known as a doe. So many does are also there. Indo-Gangetic Plain is the most important for the crops. If there are crops, so high density population was occurred there. This is the most importance of the Indo-Gangetic plain. The third feature is the peninsular plateau. Fourth feature is only coastal plains and the desert and islands. These are the major physio divisions of India. Now we should take only the Deccan Plateau, the Deccan Plateau, and also coastal plains. The coastal plains and the Deccan Plateau. These two are another physical features of the India. First one, we identified some plateaus on the map. This is a Pamir Plateau. Pamir Plateau. And here, this is Tibet Plateau. These are the border plateaus of India. Tibet Plateau, biggest plateau in the world, and Pamir Plateau is nearest to India. And inner side of India, some plateaus are identified. Here, this is Malwa Plateau. Malwa Plateau. This plateau is Central Highlands of India. The other name is Central Plateau of India. It is Malwa Plateau. It is Chota Nagpur Plateau. Chota Nagpur Plateau. It is the mineral plateau. Bundelkhand, Bhagelkhand. Two plateaus are there. Bundelkhand, Bhagelkhand. Bhagelkhand Plateau. And the southern side, it is Deccan Plateau. These plateaus are also important for the map. Pamir Plateau, Tibet Plateau, and Chota Nagpur Plateau is a mineral plateau. Central Highland Plateau is the Malwa Plateau. This is the Bundelkhand and this is the Bhagelkhand plateaus. The plateau is also in south side is the Deccan Plateau. These are the main important plateaus. And we should take the plains. Here are southern India. Vindhya and Satpura mountains. Vindhya and Satpura mountains are divided into North India and South India. The South India consists of important plains. The plains are known as in western side, western plain, between the Western Ghats and the coastal area of the Arabian Sea. And in eastern area, Eastern Ghats, between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal, the area is a coastal plain. Here the dotted or the into marks denotes only the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. The western side Ghats are Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats are Eastern Ghats. Western Ghats are also come from Rann of Kutch in Gujarat. Rann of Kutch to Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari. Western Ghats are also stay from Rann of Kutch to Kanyakumari. Here Eastern Ghats are Mahadeva Hills. Mahadeva Hills to Godaluru. Godaluru This part is only the Eastern Ghats. This part is only the Western Ghats. What are the difference between Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats? Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. This is the 2 marks question for the public examination. Western Ghats are run of Kutch to Kanyakumari. Eastern Ghats are Mahadeva Hills to Gudaluru. These ghats are near to Arabian Sea. These ghats are also near to Bay of Bengal. The Western Ghats consist of the highest peaks. For example, the peak is Annaimudi, Dodabetta. There are no peaks. There is a highest peak. It is Arayakonda. Arayakonda. Look, Annaimudi is the highest peak here. Annaimudi. And Dodabetta is the second highest peak. Dodabetta. Arayakonda. Here in Visakhapatnam district, Chintapalli forest area is there. Arayakonda. It is not a feature of Ghats. It is one of the highest place in Visakhapatnam. The Arayakonda is the highest place in the Eastern Ghats. And there are no Ghats of the eastern side. And the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats met one place. That place is known as a Gudaluru. The Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats are also met one place is Gudaluru. The Gudaluru consists of one cooling place is known as a Ooty. Ooty is also known as a Udakamandalam. The cooling place in South India is Ooty. Ooty is known as a Udakamandalam. The Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats, the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats are also met one place is known as Gudaluru. And here, these two high peaks are in western side. Only one highest place is in the eastern side. These Western Ghats are also most important to originate of the rivers. Nasik near Trambak, it is originate to the Godavari. And here, Mahabaleshwar, it is only the originate of the Krishna. Nandikotkur is only the originate of the Penna river. These are the most important rivers, originate places are located in the Western Ghats. But these are the main difference. Eastern and Western Ghats are also in the southern India or peninsular plateau on Deccan side. And here are the plains. The Western plain and Eastern plain. The Eastern plain is most important for the food crops. The Western plain is also very important for the commercial crops. But there are no flows to the direction of the western side in a river, except these four rivers are also located there. Those are Narmada, Tapati, Mahi, Sabarmati. Those four rivers are also flows to the direction of the western side. The remaining rivers, Godavari, Krishna, Penna, Kaveri, are also originate place of the Western Ghats and flows to the direction of the eastern side. At last they join into the Bay of Bengal. Because the Deccan Plateau is sloped to the direction of the eastern side, except this place. These are the west flowing rivers, and the remaining rivers are also east flowing rivers. Those rivers are also very worthy for the crops. And already you know, just run of Kutch is the most important birthplace of the Western Ghats to the end of the Kanyakumari. And here it is only the Mahadeva hills are also most important to the Eastern Ghats to birthplace, and here it joined to the Western Ghats at the place of Gudaluru. That's end.